I state your name.
I, Tony Atkins,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the great state of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Senators and guests, I introduce you to the first woman and 48th President pro tempore of the California State Senate, Tony Atkins.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Thank you so much for your incredible words. I appreciate it so much. And those of you that really know me know how excruciating this last 30 minutes have been. And now I actually have to do something. Colleagues, I want to begin with an expression of profound gratitude to each of you for this incredible privilege. You know, every day I'm struck by your energy and your intellect. I'm inspired by your passion for public service. I will never stop striving to earn the trust that you've placed in me today. Nor will I ever take for granted the gravity of this gavel. And as my first official act, it's really my honor to welcome all of our special guests to the Senate chamber. Governor Brown joined me at the Women's Caucus breakfast this morning, and as governor, he led us from insolvency to unstoppability and will go down in history as one of America's most effective chief executives. And I guess I should know I served as acting governor for a whole 12 hours. And historians say it was a time of unprecedented prosperity. Now, in all honesty, it will be a real honor to work with Governor Brown. Now, I know there's a lot of important people with really impressive sounding titles in this room, and I'm truly humbled by your presence here today. But to me, the title most of us share is the most impressive of all, and that's Californian. And that's a title that means more today than ever before. Diversity is our destiny, inclusion a reflection of our character. But it's not just about who we are, it's about what we can do together. Of that, there might be no better example than my fearless friend and leader through these last 4 years of historic progress. Kevin De Leon and I came, as he said earlier, from very different backgrounds, But we both know what it means to grow up so far below the poverty line that we couldn't even see the line. And we're both committed now to giving every Californian the opportunity to build on their beginning, no matter how humble, and achieve their higher calling. So for every gesture of kindness that he's extended to me, and for every measure of devotion he's offered our state, our climate, our children, our working families, and our immigrant community, from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. This House respects its history, and I want to honor the esteemed former senators with us today who served in this role: Bill Lockyer, John Burton, and of course, Mayor Darrell Steinberg. Each in his own way left an indelible imprint on the Senate and on this state. And as a point of personal privilege, I have a few members of my own extended family to acknowledge: my Capitol and district staff, in fact, every Senate staff member, and all those who made today and every day in the People's House possible. You know, it's our names as elected officials on the door, but it's really your work on this floor. And I know we collectively will always appreciate what you do. And as already noted, one of my most important mentors is here, Senator Christine Kehoe. She's here with her spouse, Julie Warren. Chris, thank you for every opportunity that you have given me over the years. Also making the trip north, San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer and our Sheriff Bill Gore. Today is an especially fine day for America's finest city. It's been nearly 40 years since Jim Mills was the first and only senator from San Diego County to serve as pro tem, until today. And I'm honored by every San Diegan who's made the trip here today. Thank you. And I want to extend a special acknowledgement to those colleagues with whom I served on the San Diego City Council: Jim Medaffer, Assemblymember Brian Mainshine, along with, of course, my current colleague, Senator Ben Hueso. My good friend and former colleague, Congressman Scott Peters, is in Washington doing our nation's business, but his incredible, remarkable wife, Lynn Gorgas, is here with us. I want to recognize one of my dearest friends from college, Pam Kessner. She has served 3 different Virginia governors and still found time to be here with me today. Thank you, Pam. Well, that's my work family. Here's my family family. I'm pleased to introduce again my mother and father-in-law, Dr. Jack and Kate Lassar. And of course, most importantly, she's been mentioned today, my spouse, Jennifer Lassar. Every day, Jennifer proves you don't have to serve an elected office to serve the public good, and I wouldn't be the public servant I am today without her. So, Jen, thank you so much. You know, to everyone present, to every Californian, and especially to my colleagues, today might seem all about me. But tomorrow, and I do promise this, it's all about you, and I really can't wait to get started. By nurture or nature, I've always been a little uncomfortable talking when the subject of the sentence is me. I really do prefer to work behind the scenes, advancing good public policy and hopefully making life easier and better and more affordable for everyday Californians. But too many generations of pioneers and trailblazers have sacrificed too much to the cause of equality for me not to highlight a few historic firsts. It may have already been said, but it bears repeating. One, this is the first time an open member of the LGBTQ community has been elected to lead the California State Senate. And two, this is the first time a woman has been elected to lead the Senate of America's largest state. It is the first time, and it's about time. Now, to be honest with you, I came to the Senate to make progress, not history. But if I'm touching any part of the sky today, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of couriers of courage, individuals who refuse to accept closed doors, hidden closets, or glass ceilings. They weren't waiting, they were working, marching in the streets, battling in courtrooms, speaking out, and stepping up. This ascension is their accomplishment, it's not mine. So what I can do to celebrate their legacies is to follow their examples and fight every single day to make moments like this the rule instead of the rare exception. I'm particularly honored to accept the gavel at the same time a woman is already leading the Republicans. Pat Bates and I aren't always ideological soulmates, but we are soul sisters who both love California. And I'm excited about what we will be able to accomplish together, Pat. As this moment shows, California has always been a place that proves history need not be destiny. Californians are constantly rewriting our own narrative. We're dreamers, not dwellers. We've built the greatest engine of opportunity the earth has ever known, but we never settle for the status quo. We're not content to just stand our ground, we reach for the stars. We are the envy of the world because of that. Now, there will always be people in this line of work who cling to a gauzy version of a simpler past. But for California, to quote that great philosopher of my day, Carly Simon, these are the good old days. Step outside and soak it in. See the natural splendor matched with human capital, innovators and educators and caregivers and skilled workers, communities teeming with diversity and productivity. In recent years, we've kicked open doors to fairer wages and fundamental human rights. We've invested in public schools, modern infrastructure, clean air, and water. We've made it easier for people to access health care when they need it, to afford a roof over their head where they need it, and to save for a secure retirement after a lifetime of service. These are the good old days. On any given day, California is the world's breadbasket, the capital of both the entertainment industry and the innovation economy, and it produces more domestic prosperity than 236 nations. The future is now, and it's within each of us to bring it forth. Our challenge now is to ensure that those good old days are being enjoyed universally, not just the privilege of certain communities. We must ensure that every person living in California, no matter how they look, or who they love, or where their parents were born, can climb life's ladder, live out loud, and be whoever they want to be without being demeaned, downsized, or discriminated against. California's truest potential is to be a place where nothing stands in the way of its people fulfilling their truest potential. And as a duly elected representative of the people, we must always strive to lead by example. For this legislature, these last few months, the learning curve's been a little steep. We've been confronted with some hard truths about our duty to each other and to our employees in this hallowed workplace. The work that we do, the laws that we pass, hold the power to positively change millions of lives. But great policymaking doesn't exempt policymakers from personal responsibility. To some extent, we bear the burden of past sins, too often swept under the rug. We can't change the past, but we can and we should be judged on how we shape the future. Recently, we've reformed some of our internal processes for the better. But we know that true culture change cannot be legislated or decreed. It doesn't occur overnight, and it doesn't get solved simply by electing women to leadership. True culture change, holding ourselves to a higher standard, requires the active, everyday, enlightened participation of every person who works in and around this Capitol. And I pledge to you that will be our mission and our mandate. And we will treat any person of any gender identity, age, or orientation who walks into the People's Building with respect. Of course, culture change is about more than how we treat one another. It's also how collaboratively we work with one another. Another lesson of the past few months is that our legislature is at its best when we endeavor to be greater than the sum of our turf battles. We are a big tent, and we are bicameral, but some issues cry out for elevated consensus. And one thing I've noticed in ceremonial moments like today, when the cameras are rolling, we paint in bold colors, promising aspiration above ambition, partnership over partisanship, unity over division, and everything seems possible. It's a sweet-sounding sentiment, but it always seems to have a day-long shelf life. How fast those ideals fade. Today's applause lines become tomorrow's broken promises. And I'm not interested in happy rhetoric. I'll be happy when we get results. And I'm willing to work with anyone willing to shake off the shackles of zero-sum thinking and put some big ideas on the table for the people of California. Thank you. Now, it is no secret that I have a deep and abiding affection for the Assembly and the members who serve there. They were my colleagues, and they are my friends. And I know my successor as Speaker, Anthony Rendon, to be a leader of integrity and creativity. And if you think I might not care enough about the historical rivalry which separates the Senate from the Assembly, you're right. I don't care at all about old fights and frictions. You know, the people that we serve view us as one co-equal branch of government, and they hold us to the exact same measure. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with my friend, Speaker Rendon, and the entire Assembly to meet and exceed those public expectations. I know our houses have some differences, the red carpet versus the green, Washington versus Lincoln, but we have far more in common. The oath we took, the constituents we serve, our quiet, understated appropriations chairs. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry, we need a little levity. So I don't care whether you're a senator or an assembly member, a Republican or a Democrat, rural or urban, north, south, or central. We are all Californians. We all represent Californians. And like California itself, we succeed or we fail together. Okay, so that's my deal. I want to build on the remarkable progress of the past, but I want to approach it a little differently. Because that's what transitions are for, to reflect, to renew, and to evolve. And I know that old ways die hard, but we owe it to our constituents and everyone who works in and around this building to turn the page and write our own narrative. After all, isn't that the promise of California? Where people can dream big dreams and make them real, where people can be whoever they want to be, where the daughter of a poor Virginia coal miner can succeed the son of a Mexican housekeeper as leader of the state Senate. And that is the California that I love, and that's a promise that I intend to keep. So I want to thank you all for listening today. And now let's get back to work. Thank you.